Welcome to the book of Zechariah, part 2. We covered part 1. You have to go and look at that. Verses 1 through 6. In summary, the Lord is urging his people to repent. And so the words that he used in those verses were keywords. Turn. You turn to me, I turn back to you. I turn to you. He wanted them to hear. He wanted them to hearken. Those are the words that the Lord used in those verses by the prophet Zechariah. We're covering verse 7 and 8 for now in part 2. Now in the verse 7, it said, on the 24th day of the 11th month. Now in the King James it reads different. I am coming from the King James, so I'm just making it more simpler. The second year of Darius, that's the Persian king. The word of the Lord came to Zechariah. Now Zechariah is a popular name. About 27 times at least the name Zechariah. So we have to identify which Zechariah we're talking about. This prophet Zechariah is the son of Berechiah. Berechiah means God is blessing. And the son of Iddo. So the bloodline is from the Berechiah's bloodline comes derived from King David. Iddo is Berechiah's father. Berechiah is Zechariah's father. So you see where I'm going there. So those have to be identified. One thing else you can read in here in the verse 7 of chapter 1 of Zechariah, that Zechariah waited for a word from the Lord. He waited. So as we go, it said that last part, let me read that last part. The Lord, in the word of the Lord, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, saying, now verse 8. Now this is what we really want to take a good notice of, verse 8 of chapter 1 of the book of Zechariah. It said, I saw by night. Now I'm going to read the whole thing. I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse. That's what it said. And he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, and behind him were there red horses, speckled in white. Now let's address that. We basically addressed the verse 7. He said, I saw, talking about the prophet Zechariah, the son of Berechiah. He said, I saw. So he was able to see by night. He said, I saw by night. Not when you say by night, you mean during the night. It sounds better than saying at night. During the night. So the activities were going on during the night. God gave him the ability, the physical ability to see by night, during the night. If you go in a room, turn up all the lights, make sure there's no lights that can radiate through the windows and all of that, put colors in front of you, put objects in front of you, and turn out the light, you will not see anything. That's when you know that it's a vision. Because the Lord allowed him to see. When I was in the military, I could not see anything. I was on an assignment in another country. And we went into the jungle, like you see in the movies. There literally are jungles in the world. And it was by night. We did our stuff by night. All our activities were by night. We were training. We had no flashlights. We had a compass. We have been given a place to go by that compass. It was over 30-something men, and we had to stay together. So we had a little technique that they use in the military by touching one another and counting to see if you were still there, because it was so dark in the jungle. It was felt like as if the night was seeking into my skin. It was so dark. And I was the leader. I was, as a non-commissioned officer at the time. And there was a military training that we had to go through in the jungle. And the place was Paris. In other words, very dangerous. Anything could have happened to us. But I had to use that compass, what I was given by my commander, to go from A to B. So it was by night. It was in darkness, back to Zechariah, when he saw this. And then he said in verse 8, and behold, a man. The word behold means look at, surely look at. A man, this was a man, Ish, or I-S-H. It was a figure of a man. It was a man. That's what he saw in the vision. Riding upon a red horse. The red horse represents war. But look where the red horse was. That's when you know that your eyes, our 20/20 and better, could never see at night like that. Usually when in the military, you can see at night figures by infrareds. And that's, I've seen through them, and you can just see certain figures. But back to the book of Zechariah, the 8th verse. And so this man, it said it was a man, that stood among the myrtle trees. That's what he said. This man that was riding on a horse stood among the myrtle trees. The myrtle trees is a symbolizing peace, or there will be peace. War will end. Let's go on. So it was in the bottom, in a dark place. That's what, shady, full of darkness place, that the Lord allowed Zechariah the prophet, the son of Berechiah, to see. In the darkness, because the word By night, or night means darkness. If you go in the book of Genesis, this first chapter, verse 5, you see what God called that. Read it. And so, and he said, and behind him, that this is the man, this is the one was on the red horse. Behind him were the red horses, speckled and white. And so the Lord allowed him to see all of that in a vision. There's no way you would have been able to see that. You would walk right over, you would pass right over that because you wouldn't have seen that down there in the bottom. He was able to identify the myrtle trees. Beautiful myrtle trees, they're very beautiful. So we're going in verse 9. So in verse 9, then he said, in verse 9, then said I, talking about Zechariah said, oh, when you use that exclamation, oh, my Lord, what are these? This is what he said. He didn't know. He had to get revelation. He had to get knowledge from the angel that he was talking with. It says in here, what are these? And the angel that talked with me said unto me, I will show you, I will reveal to you, I will give you revelation. Thee, he said thee, you, what these be. I like the word how he said that. What these be. Since he's going to talk about what are these, he said, what do these be? In verse 10 it said, oh my God, we went past time.